Yeah, my name's Bruce. This is my channel. I hope that you like it. If you like it, subscribe. And if you don't like it, subscribe anyway. I'm on a subscription drive. I think I have to get 5 more subscribers to get to 590 subscribers, which would be just a monumental goal. So hopefully you'll click the like button, click the subscribe button, all that stuff. But anyway, here to have a little bit of a speech, a tirade, a rant. No, nothing. Something a little bit informative. The informative part is that earlier I had talked about electrical generation and electrical generation as public policy, electrical generation in the context of opportunity cost and the resources that you consume to expand your electrical generation capacity is important. And in the sense that there's a finite amount of resources because there's a finite amount of time, there's a finite amount of people, and there's well, we can always make more material, but in a sense you can consider it as finite. So you want to make your decisions that are going to give you the most production in the shortest amount of time and with the most reasonable amount of resources. And I'm standing here, I'm in the province of Ontario, but I could be standing anywhere. But the province of Ontario is a province where a region in Canada, a part of Canada, where most of the electrical generation comes from nuclear power. The reason for that is legacy, because in the 1950s and the 1960s and even later, there was a spate of nuclear power development because at that time it was seen as a panacea, the greatest thing since sliced bread. And you know what? It's very, very good. Let's not deride nuclear. Let's just stick with the fact here that it's very, very good. Nuclear is good if you happen to have nuclear. I'm going to make an adjustment. Nuclear is good if you happen to have nuclear. Ontario has nuclear. Tennessee, I think, has nuclear. New Brunswick has nuclear. France has nuclear. There's parts of the world that has a tremendous amount of electrical generation via nuclear thermal generation. So you have a nuclear reaction, the decomposition really of uranium into other elements, and that gives off heat. You use the heat to make steam, you use the steam to turn turbines, and the turbines give you electricity. That's, in a nutshell, that's how it works. Remember I said, if you happen to have nuclear, it's great. The implication is that if you don't have nuclear and you're thinking about expanding your electrical generation, it's not necessarily great. And lately there's a lot of talk about small modular nuclear reactors, and here in the province of Ontario, because we have a lot of nuclear generation, then the OPG, the Ontario Power Generation, which is kind of a public entity company, they're deciding that they want to have, really it's the premier of the province, that they want to have more nuclear because that's their thing. They want more nuclear. It's like the Cookie Monster wants more cookies. So they're embarking on kind of a surreptitious thing, surreptitious meaning a little bit secretive. They're not really talking about it, but they're kind of talking about it, building these small modular nuclear reactors. Now, the thing about those is that it's not like buying a toaster. It's not like buying a Honda Civic. It's not like buying a flat screen television. You're buying something that does not exist. There are 0 of these in operation in the world. There may be 1 in China, but we're not sure. But there are 0. So you are at the bleeding edge of this affair. Now, France. In France, the French power agency thought they would like to have more electricity, wisely. It's a good idea to have more electricity. And they thought that small modular nuclear reactors would work. So they embarked on a project to build a small modular nuclear reactor, and they discovered that there's nothing small about it, there's nothing modular about it, and there's nothing really proven about it. It turns into a folly. So after having spent billions of US dollars or billions of euros, they said, stop. We're not doing this anymore because it's madness. Now, remember, it's madness. Now, I'm standing in the province of Ontario, which is this province in Canada. In Canada, under our Constitution, energy is the domain of the province. It's not a federal thing, it's not the national thing, it is a provincial thing. So if you look at a map of Canada and electrical interchange and transmission, you're going to find not many wires running east and west betwixt the provinces. They tend to run north and south. Some couple of provinces export to the United States, and then some provinces have embarked on a kind of a sharing plan to try to have a more cohesive idea. But in general, it is a provincial responsibility. It is the provincial premier who chooses how the electricity is generated. And in the province of Ontario, our provincial premier, whose resume has nothing to do with science, has nothing to do with education, has nothing to do with electrical generation, has nothing to do with public policy considerations in the context of competing interests, but the premier seems to have been seduced by this idea of small modular nuclear reactors because somebody with a great voice undoubtedly made a wonderful sales pitch and said that's the way to go. And the larger regions in Ontario that have started to attempted it, like France, I've been saying, have said this is madness, we're not doing it. Okay. And nuclear energy, if you don't have nuclear energy, it is approximately 100 times as expensive as the next most expensive thing per kilowatt or per watt or per unit of energy to create. That is a good budgetary reality to take into consideration. So if you can do one thing through wind and solar, you can do that thing through nuclear. It's going to cost you 100 times as much resources, 100 times. And people understand things in terms of money, although governments don't really spend money in the way that individuals do, but people understand things in terms of money. So it costs 100 times the amount of money to build nuclear as it does to do anything else. Anything else. And so let's pretend that you do the other thing with the same amount of money. You wind up with the same amount of electrical generation, the same amount of energy capacity, the same amount of everything with less impact on the environment and less impact on the pocketbook, but you have 99% of your resources left over that you can use to address the housing crisis, expand your educational system, expand your healthcare system, expand your transportation system more broadly. I mean, more broadly than just simply building roads. Building roads are not the greatest idea in the world, and I can go on about that, but we'll skip it for today. That's it. So, province of Ontario, nuclear energy, it's a folly, it's madness, and it's proven madness really throughout the world. There's no case study that says that building new nuclear is a good idea, except if your only tool is a hammer, everything starts to look a whole lot like a nail. So I think that there's a thing like fiefdom, creating silos and isolation and mindset, and that's what's happened with OPG, Ontario Power Generation. Their thing is nuclear, so they want more nuclear, 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 and it's a big no. It's just a bad idea, because there's so many better things that you could be doing. That's it. Anyway, my name's Bruce. This is my channel. If you like this video, please subscribe. If you don't like the video, please subscribe. Anyway, I hope it's kind of entertaining. I don't know. Some crazy guy in the middle of nowhere having a bit of a you know what, a rant. It's not a rant because a rant is an emotional thing on the basis of emotions. It's like this, you get drunk and you go on. But this is a cogent thing. It just costs so much money for nuclear, it's crazy. That's it, for new nuclear. Now we already have nuclear and we're gonna maintain that, great, do it. But new stuff, hard no. Anyway, thanks, bye.